Hi there, so this video I'm going to get into the marksbook settings. So you've copied your program across, you've shared it with other people, you've set up the pathways, all of those sorts of things. We want to get into the marksbook settings. So right here on the cover page of the program, we've got marksbook settings. Now the first thing you want to get it right is the course type. So if you copy across the program from last year, automatically the course type will be correct. In this case, this is a Year 12 course, it's a waste course. So you've got to make sure that the course type is correct. Waste course practical, those courses with a practical component. Marks based is the one that you're going to want to choose for just about all of the Year 7 to 10 subjects are going to be marks based programs. There may be some that are strictly grades based in Year 7. We've got VET programs, mixed mode, which could be a combination of marks and grades based, but really the main ones that you're going to be using here are marks based for 7 to 10 courses, most of them, waste course practical, and VET course. So the first thing is those got to be right. Now notice that when you do that, you get these set of cutoffs, grade cutoffs. You can choose a different template for the grades cutoffs. For example, I choose a mastery template, whether someone has mastered something or not, but here I'm going to go just with the basic template that will come when you first load it up. Okay, so the marks based cutoffs. Now you can change these if you want. Make sure that you have the 0.5 in there. That means that someone who ends up with a final mark, for example, of 74.6 is going to end up with 75 on the report, and that will be an A. So if you put 75 there, for example, someone who ends up with 74.8 will not reach that threshold, even though the mark that appears on their report will be 75. So make sure you have those 0.5s in there. Now you can adjust these. Again, if this program is shared, it will adjust it for all of the classes in the program. So I'm going to just leave it like that for now. Now, next thing, and a really important thing here, is the assessment groups. Now these are the assessment groups that have come across again from the program that I copied from last year. We're going to make some adjustments here. Here is what SEQTA says we need to have for our assessments for this particular course. We've got response, investigation, and examination. So I'm going to set up assessment types: response 40%, investigation 20%, examination 40%. Now if we go back to this one here, we've got all assessments. So let's go in here and we're going to say this is response type assessments, and that's going to be weighted at 40%. Keep that as green. Exams are going to be weighted at 40% as well. So let's go for 40 for those ones. And investigations, we're going to have a weighting of 20%. Alright, so I'm going to go investigations 20%, and then I might have other things, topic tests in here. I'm going to weight those as 0. I might want to add a group in here that might be, I don't know, homework tasks or something like that, and I'm going to give them a weight of 0. Okay, it just means that I can create tasks in my marks book, assign them to either one of these groups. They will count nothing. They will have no bearing on the final mark that's being produced. Only assessments that are in the categories that we've got here with exams, investigations, and response are the ones that are going to count to the final mark. So let me show you what this looks like. We won't worry about assessment types, all of these things at the bottom. Just get this set up so that the weightings are as the weightings are dictated by SEQTA in your particular course. Don't worry about these mean, standard deviations. These available on reports, just leave all those sorts of things on. That's fine. So I'm going to hit save. If I go across now to the overview of assessments, you'll see that we've got assessments in here. So this one here is an investigation. So each assessment needs to be coded with the correct group. Alright, so I can go down to test 1. Let's save that since I changed that. Let's go down to test 1, which is 8%. This is in the response group. Okay, yep, no problem. Test 2, that's going to be in the response group. Exam, this one here, exam semester 1, is going to be in the exams group. Let's save that, and you can see this is set up right. We've got the name, we've got the percentage. So I just got to go through and make sure that each of the assessments in the course is coded with the correct assessment group. What this looks like now in the marks book, if I just go forward in time, What this looks like in the marks books now is you'll have certain assessments that are in the exam group, in the investigation group, and in the response group. All right, and that's exactly as it should be. If we have other assessments that are coded in those other groups, that's fine as well. So what this means is that any marks that I put in here, so let's put a 30 in there, any marks that I put in there will be in the exact proportion that we need it to be in. All right, so it means that we put our 2 exams in here, they will count for 40% of the final mark that the marks book is calculating over here. Okay, so we'll get the correct weighting at any stage during the year. So for my investigation here, out of 44, let's go 35 for that one. Now these investigations are going to count for 20% of the mark, and it doesn't matter if we have 1, 2, 3, 4 or however many assessments, and I know SEQTA has some minimum numbers in there, but this mark here will count for 20% of the final mark. Similarly for the response, you can see we've got lots and lots of different response assessments in here. It doesn't matter how many we have, they will count for 40% of the final mark. So at the end here, the mark for the response part will count for 40% of this mark here. So that's how you need to set up your marks book so that the correct weightings are reflected from SEQTA are reflected in there. So finally, let me go back to the program, and I'll discard that. And so if you go into the marks book setting there, everything is set up exactly as it needs to be. Make sure that your marks, the kind of course type it is correct. Set up your assessment groups as they need to be. You can see exams and homework. And I can add as many assessments as I like in these groups. They won't count, the homework group and the topic test group, they will not count for anything in the final mark. All right, so that's it. That's your marks book setup in SEQTA.